Hello out there in guitar land. It's Jeff from jeffrey-thomas.com, and I'm going to preview my guitar tab for the solo section on Tennessee Whiskey following Chris Stapleton's awesome version. So here we go, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so it's pretty badass. Super slow 3 feel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how I decided to write it. I feel it as a waltz, so I wrote it in 3. I also included all 5 pentatonic patterns with the chord shape. So if you're wondering about what that means up there in the top chord diagram section of the page, so F sharp minor, relative minor to the key of A. This song is in the key of A. And we start our first pattern here. So I like to think of an F sharp minor in that chord shape, or in that scale shape. 5th position, there's your A major bar shape, and then okay, so then moving up, A over E, that's the shape that I like to think of for this pattern. Up to the 9th fret, F sharp minor over C sharp. Okay, and then the last pattern up here at the 12th fret. Okay, so those patterns are for like you doing your own thing, but then also seeing where he's getting some of these licks from. So like a majority of his solo is out of this pattern here at the 9th position. So pretty cool guitar playing. If I were to count this, which I have all my students doing, and they love and hate me for making them do that, it would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you can cut the note for the next 2 measures. You see a dotted half rest there, or you can let it ring. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then moving on. 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 2, 3. Okay, so right here I'm going to stop on that. I've got the 9th fret on the 3rd string and the 1st string, and what I'm doing is making sure that that 2nd string is muted in the middle. So this might take a little bit of work. This is an area that is good to point out. So this is an interval of a 6th. Those notes are 6 notes apart in the scale without going into too much theory mumbo jumbo. Technique-wise, you have to have the ability to either mute both those notes and just use your pick, or another option is to use your pick and your middle finger and isolate those notes. That's actually pretty clean, but you sort of lose the dirt of, you know, just dragging the pick through those strings. Going to the 3rd line, we've got the 7s again. 7, 7, 5 and 6. Okay, so that 5 and 6 tends to pose a problem for certain people. So maybe that's a good option to go. It's kind of a chicken picking thing, where you're using the pick and then popping either one string or two strings. Okay, moving on. Last measure of the third line goes into a scale. Slide into 11. I'm at the top of the fourth line. That slide into the 11 is random, by the way, so as long as you make that 11, you're cool. And as long as you get there on beat 1, you're cooler. And then, okay, so we've got a bend from 12 to 14. Okay, then the next measure, last measure of the fourth line, this is where he puts on some blues juice. So he's bending using a minor pentatonic from 13 to 15. Very common thing to do to get like a blues sound, imposing the minor pentatonic over a major chord progression. We'll talk about that later. Okay, then fifth line, playing the 10, letting it sustain. Once again, where I've written all of these dotted half notes, you have the option to let the notes sustain or cut them off. Picking up with the fourth measure on the fifth line, we've got a grace note hammer-on from 9 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 1. So you've got a hammer-on from 9 to 11, then a pull-off back to 9. Come back in and play the 11 alone. Then we have a grace note slide back from 11 to 9 and a pull-off. Okay, tied over to the next measure. Okay, first measure, last line, triplet, eighth note triplet. So that would be counted 1 triplet, 2. A lot of students are having problems with the hammer-on pull-off right here. So what I'm having them do is go pick everything first, get control of the notes, and then try the hammer-on pull-off. So 1 triplet, 2, 3. All right, moving on. And then it just continues a scale climb. Okay, so the chord progression is basically A to B minor. So that, you know, making a rhythm track for yourself, going back and forth from A to B minor, would be a great way for you to start to learn how to put these licks into motion. And then more importantly, practicing the pentatonic patterns against it to be able to develop your own, you know, improvisation technique thing, which is what I'm having everybody focus on so they can work up the ladder. All right, hopefully that was a good preview. Lots to talk about here, but I just wanted to kind of breeze through the solo and get you started on that. All right, thanks a lot.